Aaron Schatz here, and welcome to another edition of Tech Talk with Aaron. This time, I'm going to be going over the Jabra Speak 510, the actual, I would guess they would call it portable teleconferencing speaker system, microphone, Bluetooth, and USB. I bought this because most of my job is working from home, and I had to do conferencing and stuff, and I really need something that I can just plug in and it'll sound good without me having to fiddle with, my headsets or whatever. So this I can just sit on my desk, plug it in when I need to, and it'll just work. So that's exactly why I got it, and I can tell you that it does just do exactly what I need to do, and it works fine. Before I continue, you might be wondering, why am I not doing this as an actual review on AC Labs? Two reasons. Number one, I don't really want to formalize this type of opinion setting. Number two, I really just didn't want to actually do the entire review process because I'm not going to put this through its paces entirely at all. I have a very specific use case, and for that use case, I was very happy with it. So I will just tell you a little bit more about that and how this actually works and what I actually think about this product. The 510 actually supports Bluetooth, and I actually tested the actual Bluetooth with my phone, paired it with my phone, and it actually sounds really good over Bluetooth. And even the actual speaker on it, it's good enough. It's not don't get me wrong, I am not replacing my desktop speakers with this thing at all, but in a pinch, this is louder and clearer than a cell phone. So if you had this, you can actually project video conferencing, teleconferencing, whatever, microphone, speaker in a room over Bluetooth. It works fine. There's an internal battery on here. Oh, might as well show you. So if you hit the actual button right here,
smartphone connected.
You can tell that it's already connected to my smartphone. The one I actually don't like that it actually does that little status thing where it actually tells you. I'd rather it just show you a light or something that right here. You see that little blue light saying it's connected? That's good enough for me. I don't need it to tell me oh, you should pair your phone. So that's just a little dig on it. But otherwise it works absolutely fine over Bluetooth.
Disconnected.
On my desktop, I can also use Bluetooth, but I'd rather not because, to be honest, I got it so I can actually plug this thing in. The interesting part about this is that there's no actual 3.5mm jack, so you can't actually just plug this into your own type of setup like I have in my computer. So this is basically a USB sound card that you plug in and it'll operate on its own. You don't even need a sound card in your computer. So if you wanted to, you could just not have a sound card in your computer and plug this in, and you can actually get microphone and speakers out of this too. It's exactly what it is. The other good thing is that this operates as another device. So let's just say you want to do voice chat. You can actually do that via a separate device and pump the audio out through here. So for instance, if you're having voice chat over Skype or Discord or TeamSpeak or whatever everybody uses nowadays, you can actually say oh, I want the device to be used as this thing. So I want the microphone to be used and the actual speaker to be used as this, and let my sound card do everything else, which means that my actual speaker setup and stuff, I won't hear the actual voice through. I think that I like that a lot. One of the huge problems that I have with that setup though is this problem right here. Look at how short this cable is. And I'm sorry, this is totally ridiculous. So the expectation is that I have a USB port on my desk somehow. Now, I know a lot of people have monitors and stuff that have USB connections on them, and that's all fine and good. But what about the people like myself that may not have that built into their monitor, and they don't have USB ports literally right next to this thing on their desk? So what are you supposed to do then? I get it. I get it. This is meant to be a portable type of thing where you would use this on a laptop or something, and you'd be able to plug this into a laptop and it wouldn't be that far away. But even in that case, you mean to tell me that the laptop has to be this close? I think that's kind of ridiculous. There should be either an extension given to you or the cable should just be longer. And I get why they didn't, because you can coil it up like so. Again, the other thing is, see this, it holds in there, so that's nice, but give an extension at least. I get it, you don't want to put a big cable that you have to wind and stuff in here, but to me, I have to have an extension for it anyway. So what's the difference? Include it in the actual package. Aside from the actual length of the cable, which I rectify by basically putting an extension on my desk that actually gets the length that I need, the actual thing works fine over USB as well. It operates as a standard USB type of sound card, works on Linux, no problem. The actual sound quality via the USB sounded a little bit worse than it did over Bluetooth, which is kind of weird. That might, again, sound things are very subjective, so that's just my opinion. That I might be mistaken on that, but to me, subjectively, when I plugged this in via USB, it sounded a little bit worse, the recording, than using it over Bluetooth. So I have no idea if that's actually the case or just my ears are playing tricks on me. The most important button on here is not the power button. It is this button up here, the mute button. And that mute button actually does work. And I'll show you by turning this on. It's going to connect through Bluetooth.
Smartphone connected.
Ooh, fancy. So now, if I wanted to mute something, you could see that the whole thing lights up in red to let you know that it's muted. So it's very obvious when something is muted. And this is what you need when you're actually on a conference call, because I don't know about you, but there are plenty of times where I'm on a conference call and I'll mute it and I'll say some really dumb things on the conference call. So this mute button saves me a lot of trouble. Or you're going to cough and stuff, right? You can call it the cough button, right? You just like, so if you're like talking blah 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 blah, and you're like, oh, I got to cough, so you hit the mute button, right? And then there you go. Nobody else has to hear that. The other thing that a mute button's good for is if it's down here and the keyboard right here, and you're like typing away, mute yourself so nobody can hear that. Other than that, there's standard plus and minus for the actual volume. There's hang up and pick up the actual call for the actual mobile device. There's a little media key here that I've never used. There's a battery indicator here. That's all fine. Again, I primarily use this as the USB version of it, and I actually think that they actually sell a cheaper model that's only USB, which I could have gotten, but you know what? In the off chance that I actually take this with me on a trip and I need to use it via Bluetooth, I have the actual option of doing so, and I think it's actually pretty well suited for that task too. It's not that heavy, which means you can actually throw this in a laptop bag. I mean, don't get me wrong, my laptop bag has got a lot of stuff in it already, and putting something else in there doesn't really interest me, but if I needed to and I was going to do conferences and stuff all the time, this isn't that bad. It's pretty thin. It's not terribly thin, but it's pretty thin. So it's not something that I would be like, oh, I'm never going to take it with me on a trip. My use case, as I said before, is basically plugging this in and using this on my desktop. If I actually took this on a trip with me, I have to take a dongle with me, unless I use the actual Bluetooth, which is why I would actually use the Bluetooth on this too. So like my laptop, which is the Pixelbook, has Bluetooth in there, so that works. That's fine. That's great. You know what it doesn't have? It doesn't have USB-A, which is fine. I don't think it should have USB-A. I would just have liked to have had something that had USB-C, so I wouldn't have to worry about this. So I have USB-C cord plugs on my actual desktop and my laptop now. So why not start making things with USB-C instead of USB-A and create an adapter for USB-C to USB-A. Stop using this old connection anymore. It's time we move to USB-C only. Like I said, in a pinch, this thing works fine for an actual external speaker. If I was on a trip again and I had this with my Pixelbook and I was using it, Pixelbook speakers are good enough for me, but like if I wanted something that was going to be placed in the center of a table, it's not going to be my laptop, it would be something like this. Again, that's the use case of this thing, and for that it works very well. So this was $100. Do I think it was worth $100? Not really, but I had to buy it for work, and for that I think it's fine. And now I'm going to sum up this review that's not a review, and it's my opinion piece because it's on Tech Talk with Aron instead of the ASC Labs actual complete video review, by saying that this thing is $100. You can buy a cheaper one that has no Bluetooth, and for me, I probably should have did that, but you know, $100 I think is a little bit expensive for something like this. This feels like a $60 product in that kind of thing. Jabra is a good name. I understand why it's $100. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's gonna, break or anything, but I just think for functionality's sake, I think $100 is a little too much. I'm still happy with the purchase, so I would purchase this again, even if it's $100. I still think it's a little too expensive. I would have gotten the cheaper one without Bluetooth because I really don't see myself ever using the Bluetooth on this. I just got it just in case. For each their own, though. So if you wanted to actually get this thing, it's $100 right now. I'll have a link in the description below. You can buy it on Amazon. I am curious, because this product is in the market, has been in the market for a long time. Do you use the Speak 510 from Jabra? And if you do, what do you think about it? Post a comment below. Love to hear from you. And also, hit the subscribe button. You'll be informed of all the actual tech talks that I post, which I seem to be posting a lot of lately. So, very happy to hear from you. And thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.